My name is Brad Astrike, and this is my final budget presentation for William Woods University EDU 528. So for this final budget presentation, I'll be showing you the wish list spreadsheet, which you see here is on the left-hand side for the soccer one. And on the right-hand side on this particular slide is the final budget spreadsheet. And you'll notice on the spreadsheet on the right, some items are highlighted in blue. So throughout the presentation, the final budget portion of the spreadsheet has blue highlights, and those are items that were cut from the budget in that particular sport. So looking here at soccer, I gave three sports kind of made their year for uniforms. So soccer was one of those. So they were able to keep the uniforms, but I cut the soccer socks for the reason that it's nice to be able to provide those for your players, but your players can also go out and purchase them themselves pretty easily. So I felt like that was something that I could easily, tell the players what exactly I wanted, and they could go out and purchase them on their own. So that's why I cut the soccer socks. And then I also cut the soccer net from the soccer budget because, like I said, soccer nets do, wear over time, but they can be kind of patched and fixed up a little bit here and there. So with the tightness of the budget, that was one thing I thought that we could probably cut out and maybe look at for next year. So those are the two things that I cut and why from the soccer budget. All right, for the basketball budget, I cut 4 things from the wish list. You'll see at the top, I cut both the memberships. I feel that all coaches should be a part of the membership of their organization for their sport. It's a great thing to be a part of, but I don't feel that it is something that should come out of the athletic budget. I feel like maybe that's something that the booster can pay for or something like that, but I just can't justify paying for that through the athletic budget itself. So that's why I cut those. The practice uniforms I also cut. Again, I awarded 3 teams uniforms, and unfortunately basketball was not on their yearly rotation for uniforms. That includes the practice uniforms, so therefore I cut those out of the budget. Then I also cut the shooting gun. For one, it was at the bottom priority of the wish list, so I felt something that they would really like, but doesn't necessarily need, and it just didn't again fit into the overall budget of the entire athletic program. So that is why the shooting gun was not purchased. So looking at the football budget, I cut out 5 things from the wish list items. The first thing you'll see that I cut is the Sky Coach Silver package, or the replay package that the football team uses. The reason I cut this is because they have 2 filming subscriptions, one from Hudl and one from Sky Coach, and I'd be willing to pay for one through the athletic budget, but I can't justify paying for 2 separate filming programs for the football team. So therefore, I had to cut one of them out, and went ahead and cut the Sky Coach out and kept the more expensive one. So therefore, maybe the Sky Coach would be something, again, Booster can look to purchase or something like that. I also cut the t-shirts and the shorts. Again, this is great for the program to have. I think every program should have some, uniform that they can wear to school and to events outside of school just to get support. But again, it's not essential for the program to be able to run. So again, something that you can look for Booster to buy, or the kids can buy on their own. So those were cut. Also cut the adapter. Again, this is a small item that was kind of towards the bottom of the wish list. And maybe it's something that someone might actually even have one that you can borrow, whether it's in the school or coach or something like that, or something again easy that the booster can go out and purchase to have if it is something you need to project the film. Lastly, I cut the Rogers Sweep Shield hand protectors. This was at the bottom of the wish list, bottom of the priority list. So I felt that it was justifiable to cut that. It's a pretty big price, and so I figured that the 10 that the 6 that we were going to ask to purchase were probably just going to be replacements. So I was figuring that probably the ones that we have could be used in at least another year, and hopefully we can get those by before we really have to purchase new ones to be replaced. So that was the reasoning behind on the football final budget. For the baseball team final budget, I cut 2 items. The first item, I cut 5 dozen practice baseballs. They asked for 15 dozen. I thought that might be a little more than what's needed, so I cut 5 dozen out, and still looking to buy 10 dozen practice balls. If that extra 5 dozen is needed, it's something that again they could look to the Booster Club or something like that to purchase. But I feel like 10 dozen practice balls would be at least a good start to get the season going, and it should get you a good way through the season. Lastly, I cut the pitching machine. It was at the bottom of the wish list. So again, it was one of those items that program would love to have, but not necessarily need. And then with the budget being pretty tight, it was just something that the athletic budget just couldn't afford this year. And baseball was one of those programs that got their jerseys this year. They were on rotation for jerseys in my budget plan. So those are pretty expensive and bumped up the baseball price pretty high. So I just couldn't justify getting that pitching machine for the baseball team this year. So that is the budget for the baseball team. For the theater program, I did not cut anything from the wish list. I felt like everything that they listed was a need for the program, and with their budget coming in at such a small amount relative to the other programs, I felt it was justified. I was justified in purchasing everything that they asked for on the wish list. In my budget, the cheerleaders were awarded everything that they asked for in their budget as well. The floor mats are definitely a need for the program for safety reasons, and this was the other last of the 3 teams that I awarded the uniforms for. And I've picked the cheerleading team to add uniforms for because they come and support multiple other sporting teams, so I felt that it would be nice for them to have new uniforms on this rotation of uniform spot. Here we have the final total breakdown for the entire whole athletic budget. You can see each program there. Their final budget total is there on the right hand side. And at the bottom, the final budget for the whole program was $26,587.02. Since we awarded $27,000 on the year, we still would have $412.98 left in the budget.